Hello everyone and welcome to a game between HawK versus Sheik. This game taking place here on springtime. HawK spawning as the blue human player, meanwhile Sheik spawning as the yellow undead. Blue and yellow between two Russian players here on springtime. Let's go ahead and figure out what's going to be unfolding in this matchup. Yes, I do realize what I just said. Let's take a look. Opening things up, Crypt, Altar of Darkness, and Ziggurat. Meanwhile, back off over here, HawK opening things up, Altar of Kings and Barracks. No big surprises at all. We should be looking at an Archmage versus Death Knight matchup. Thank you for the follow. Archmage versus Death Knight matchup, but I believe this might be one of the few times that I'm actually casting a game here on springtime. There are some close green creep camps here, a 4-3-2 and then a 3-2-1. Clearing up those two creep camps will give you your hero level 2. Coming back down to the south here, we see a 5-4-3-2 creep camp, which itself will give level 2 as well. There are options and multiple paths for trying to get to level 2, as Sheik instead opts to go for a Crypt Lord. That go wide strategy is very, very popular, being able to surround units with the help of those beetles, skeletal minions, and those early ghouls. Coming back off to the north here, we are looking at a Mountain King. So, well, I am absolutely wrong in this matchup. Mountain King versus Crypt Lord instead of your typical Archmage versus Death Knight. Crypt Lord first often does have expansions on the mine, being able to go wide and being able to take down those early creep camps, and then be able to put in that economic advantage. What is going on? I am casting a WarCraft 3 game. I hope that's why you're here. Coming back through. All right, Mountain King already out here onto the battlefield. Militia being called over. Mountain King not using a Stormbolt as of yet. Gonna go ahead and train up an Ice Troll Priest. There's that Stormbolt to try and take down that Forest Troll High Priest. Very difficult to take out once he gives himself Inner Fire and starts healing himself. Sasquatch on the other side of the section here, looking to perhaps get taken down. You can see it does deal some pretty big damage, especially with that additional armor. 8 armor, 32% damage reduction does make it rather difficult. Pendant of Energy item drop for that Mountain King, who now has, well, a plethora of mana for that Thunderclap option. We could be looking at a Blood Mage second, now that we've seen the Mountain King have that Thunderclap as that second ability. Coming back through on the other side, well, in comes the center here, and Sheik actually opting to take the center expansion. The center expansion, relatively easy to take out, and then being able to have essentially a forward base to try and attack and engage. Using a strategy and a play out of StarCraft 2, expanding towards your opponent in order to be able to launch easier attacks. That Ziggurat will end up becoming a Nerubian Tower. Footman now going to try and engage here. Pit Lord still in the center as well. You can see that the Crypt Lord doesn't have that much experience. This creep camp was relatively easy to take out, and now just the size of this army looks intimidating. Mountain King off to the north here, going to try to set up an expansion of his own. Mountain King still with plenty of mana, and also adding in a clause of attack as the Crypt Lord going to try and engage. Big thunderclap across multiple beetles, ghouls, and skeletal minions, as that damage did get very high. He is surrounded into a corner, goes in for another thunderclap as well. The Forest or Ice High Priest gonna again continue to heal up, as the Mountain King could go for another thunderclap, taking down many of those beetles. Look at that slow golf clap, taking down so many units, making it so that Sheik's Crypt Lord is now by his lonesome self. So much beetle damage, taking down unit after unit. Mountain King already almost up to level 4. Look at that, 3.8 compared to a 1.8. Sheik now being forced to retreat with his wings behind his back on that Crypt Lord. Absolutely in shock and awe of how much damage that level 2, eventually level 3 Mountain King became, just because it had that early pendant of energy. Those those slow claps, very, very satisfying, and trying to surround level 2 Mountain King with a bunch of low hit point units just was not a good idea at all. That slow clap just racked up so much damage. All right, 1.8 compared to 3.8, but the Mountain King needs to find a way to heal or gain up a little bit more experience to get to level 4. Level 4 is not going to matter as much, though, as HawK now needs to figure out what his follow-up strategy is going to be. Sheik now hoping to bank on this, well, additional gold in his bank and be able to spend enough to get out of this problem. Mountain King, no Stormbolt, sniping down any units. Death Knight, nowhere to be seen. We are going to be looking at it Impale, and still no tech to tier 2 as of yet. All right, a 6 Acolyte hanging around by this haunted gold mine. Cryptlord still hanging around nearby as well, perhaps going to try and clear up some dangerous creep camps. That's a level 6 tracker here, and well, the tracker is getting in some damage onto some of those units. As we see one of those ghouls getting taken down, Tome of Intelligence. It looks as though the tracker was just trying to cast a bunch of attacks at first, as we're looking at unit after unit falling here once more. All right, Mountain King sitting at level 4. Finally being able to use a bit of healing. His expansion is up. HawK is in an absolute great spot as we're looking at the Cryptlord, perhaps going to try and well, get to level 3. Level 2 beetles would be a much stronger variety. As where are the ghouls going? The ghouls should not be going off to the north when they are such low hit points. HawK picking up a Goblin Shredder as well to join in on the battle to help clear out this creep camp. HawK could easily get to level 5 on this Mountain King here, which would still spell absolute problems for the beetles and ghouls that are still trying to make an impact on this game. All right, ghouls making their way through. We're going to see one Stormbolt finishing off another ghoul right there. Mountain King sitting at level 4. Clarity Potion. Mountain King could try and catch up. No, there's another Scroll of Regeneration, healing up all of those units. 44 supply compared to 34. Sheik now not even holding the economic advantage, as HawK was able to set up an expansion of his own. Tech to tier 2 halfway done. This tech to tier 2 just now being started. Will the second hero and the faster tech be able to close out some of that difference? Mountain King coming back around, still looking pretty strong. That level 4 Mountain King with a Potion of Greater Healing. Mountain King doesn't have mana though. Yes, he has a high limit, but he's been spending so much of his mana that no Stormbolts or Thunderclaps are available to him right now. Meanwhile, Cryptlord looking to finish off unit after unit. He's going to find another, finds another footman, able to pick it off as well. As we're looking at the Mountain King trying to retreat back here. No Stormbolt. Well, Stormbolt is available. Is the Mountain King trying to go after any of these units, as HawK is losing or taking some damage on some of his retreating units once again. HawK sitting on 1,200 gold. Meanwhile, Sheik sitting on 1,700 gold. Both of them with plenty of gold and, well, unsure how to spend it. Cryptlord finishes off a couple of units. Mountain King to come back around and say, surprise, I too can creep jack you and perhaps cause a bit of problems. Sheik's army is actually all summoned units here, as the Mountain King could easily get a Stormbolt off onto that Cryptlord, but there is a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability on him, allowing him to perhaps break free or dodge and cause him to waste a bit more mana. All right, more engaging underway. There's a big Thunderclap as well, hitting not only most of Sheik's army, but some of the creeps in that engagement. We're going to see another Thunderclap there. Level 5 now on that Mountain King. Level 3 Thunderclap before the 9-minute mark of this game. All right. Undead Expo right in the middle portion of the map, already teching there. We are seeing a second slaughterhouse, and this is Sheik going for the Necromancer meat wagon strategy. May also get in a couple of obsidian statues in there to try and bring up that pop-up army before HawK is able to get up those arcane sanctums and get priests out on the battlefield. That is going to be the key part, whether or not HawK is going to be able to dispel magic and get those arcane sanctums up with priests in a timely manner. All right, Beetle's now trying to retreat back here. Death Knight now out here onto the battlefield. Mountain King, however, does have plenty of mana, so he could perhaps get enough thunderclaps to deal with that pop-up army himself and perhaps even get into a higher level too. We are looking at Necromancer Adept training and Skeletal Mastery already. We are also going into Meat Wagons after I believe the consumed or the corpse's ability was already getting engaged here. Mountain King comes in with a big thunderclap. Impale now coming back down around as well. Both sides going to try and engage. Mountain King does have enough mana for another thunderclap if he chooses, but there's not that many units to try. Well, no, I take it back. Look at that clap and look at the sudden drop in hit points of so many units around him. Mountain King getting, well, surprisingly close to level 6 already. He's not going to be able to get that much experience for a little bit of time, as we should be looking at as an Archmage as the second hero. All right, there is a Death Coil trying to finish off some of those other summoned units. There is another Thunderclap as well. Mountain King low on mana now, as the Crypt Lord unable to get an Impale to land down on that Ice Troll Berserker. All right, Crypt Lord does have Boots of Speed, trying to chase down some of these units. There's a Death Coil, finishes off a Footman as the Death Knight decides to break the chase. Death Knight had the Potion of Mana. If the Potion of Mana was on the Crypt Lord, an Impale might have been enough to stop that leading Forest Troll or that leading Berserker, get it taken down. Instead, going after some creeps, and that should give the Crypt Lord level 4 and get that Death Knight that much closer to level 2. Everyone has 2 bases. HawK now with the larger army. We are going into a workshop here, and we are going into dual arcane sanctums, priest with that priest adept training as well. One obsidian statue working overtime to get all of these necromancers topped out on mana. Necromancer mastery training now getting added in, more for perhaps not for the necessary spell, but for the added mana. Archmage opted to go for Blizzard first here. There's another big thunderclap. So many acolytes taking damage as we see the acolytes trying to make their way back over, repair that Nerubian tower, only to get taken down by Blizzard and thunderclap. All right, so many slow thunderclaps. Death Knight needs a Death Coil. Crypt Lord needs to stay alive. They use a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. There's an Impale, but the Archmage was not hit by it. As we're looking at that pop-up army now showing up around Archmage, and now having to deal with many of these necromancers. Archmage wants to get the Blizzard down onto all of these units, as we're looking at wave after wave continuing that attack. All right, Militia joining in on the fight, now turning into peasants, and that is just going to turn into additional units to be summoned up. The Meat Wagons do need to retreat back, though. They cannot take that much damage from that Blizzard, as wave after wave of additional units now going to be brought in. All right, Meat Wagons also having the disease cloud. That disease cloud could affect many of the riflemen and also affect the mana on those priests, as they're going to be constantly trying to heal up many of those units. More Dispel Magic coming back around here as the Archmage does get up to level 2, and more Skeletal Mages are just popping up from everywhere, trying to finish everything off. Mountain King, this might be a record breaker for how quickly a level 6 hero is out in the game. 13 minutes into this game, Mountain King already hits level 6. And now has Avatar if he wants. All right, access to Avatar could be a big deal. Level 3 Stormbolt might have been the better choice there, as mana could be a bit of a problem. All right, there's a bit of roar here. Skeletal Mage is continuing that damage. A big, massive thunderclap. Who needs the spell when you have mana on the Mountain King, being able to thunderclap down all of these Skeletal Mages? All right, continuing this engagement. This army is still pushing forward here. More thunderclap, more healing onto that Mountain King, but Mountain King could end up becoming in trouble if there is just one slight misstep. Death Knight now getting closer to level 3. Crypt Lord trying to move on closer as the Archmage. Is he going to try to go for, yes, level 2 Brilliance Aura, knowing that the Mountain King having mana means so much more. All right, Mortar Team's pushing back the other way, able to push the counterattack. 67 supply compared to 60. Sheik now trying to rest back up on a Blight. It needs to repair many of these Meat Wagons. Unfortunately for him, Unholy Aura does repair these Meat Wagons ever so slightly, giving mechanical units some natural regeneration for the win. All right, coming back around, Archmage being forced to retreat back here. Are we going to be looking at some more Dispel, more Disease Cloud? Mountain King could try and go. Nope, does not go for a Thunderclap yet. There, dives on in after turning into the Avatar mode. being able to rack up so much damage against those Necromancers. Hitting damage against the Necromancers is going to be absolutely key. There's a big impale right there. Archmage could be in trouble. Archmage down to 150 hit points. It's able to back away in time as some of those units are now continuing to try and retreat. And the Archmage down to 160 hit points. That is going to be a big deal here as the Death Knight still trying to get into position. Meanwhile, the Crypt Lord out of mana. Death Knight now trying to continue that charge here as the Crypt Lord takes a Death Coil for the heal. More damage racked back up. Mountain King down to 300 hit points and took quite a bit of damage, being forced to retreat there. 53 supply compared to 62. HawK currently with the supply lead. Meanwhile, the Scroll of Town Portal trying to retreat back. A lot of healing is necessary. Mountain King now trying to regenerate some of those lost hit points as the Disease Cloud may start taking its toll. You can see that the Disease Cloud just constantly tries to drain out much of the mana as your army is never fully healed. Mountain King comes back down to his normal self here. Meanwhile, Death Knight is sitting at level 3. Crypt Lord is sitting at level 4. We're looking at Meat Wagons and, well, Obsidian Statues continuing to join in on the battle to try and top off all of these Necromancers with plenty of mana. All right, I don't see that many Meat Wagons. Only one or two out here, or only two out here onto the battlefield. Skeletal Mages still wandering around in the center as we could be going into another battle again. 16 minutes into this game. Level 6 Mountain King, level 5 level 4, nearly level 5 Crypt Lord. HawK seems to have the experience advantage. Sheik, however, having, well, wave after wave after wave of skeletal minions and skeletal warriors, or skeletal mages and skeletal warriors to try and engage and cause problems. All right, level 4 now on the Archmage. Level 2 Blizzard should be coming down to, well, destroy this undead army of, and as the spell is also quite pretty much taking a toll. There's a big thunderclap there, taking out many of those units as the level 7 now Mountain King now has access to level 3 Stormbolt. All right, level 3 Stormbolt could cause problems. More Blizzard coming back across here. Units are still trying to push their way through as so much damage does get racked back up. The Meat Wagons could really cause problems for that back line here, but the Archmage is going to be getting within range, causing problems as well. This north-south fight making it difficult to spot all of the action here as the Blizzards are hitting the Meat Wagons and these Obsidian Statues and still continuing this battle here. All right, more units trying to come across and try and engage. Death Knight now needs to make its way back forward. Mountain King is in that frontline position down to 540 hit points. Another big thunderclap slowing down many of those additional units. There's Cripple on that Mountain King. That's why he's moving so slow and dealing such little damage. Minus 24 from that Cripple as problems could arise here. Meat Wagons continuing to lob more damage across these units here, perhaps trying to find some of these units in the back, but the mortar teams are also trying to create a little bit of zoning effect, making it difficult to stand in this no man's land area. All right, Death Knight down to 75, 66 hit points, being forced to retreat back. Obsidian Statues nowhere nearby to heal as they are all out of mana. Death Knight now looking to heal back up while on Blight. Death Knight needs a potion of healing. Yes, gets a couple of potions of healing there. Back up to 350. Paladin now added as that third and final hero. We could be looking at a Holy Light just to keep that Mountain King topped off on hit points constantly. All right, Mortar Team's going to be making their way through, and in comes a little bit of raining damage as well. 72 supply compared to 70. Both sides very close, but just a stronger level advantage for HawK. And what a difference one pendant of energy made in this particular matchup, especially when going up against a Crypt Lord. All right, Crypt Lord going to try to dive on in. Stormbolt, a Stormbolt, Holy Light, Thunderclap onto the Death Knight. Death Knight now down to 156 hit points, down to 67. Is he going to be able to survive? Yes, he's able to survive right now, as the Paladin may try to come back around and get in a Holy Light right there. Death Knight still off to the side here, as the Crypt Lord is leading the charge. Blizzard still raining down across so many units, as the Blizzard finally comes to an end. Are we going to see an Impale? No, Unholy Frenzy, as the Crypt Lord tries to chase after all of these units. Is going to be able to finish off any of those units. Yes, able to finish off one, but nothing of real true significance as the skeletal minions and mages pop back up. Mountain King says, you know what, I'm still in avatar mode. I'm still in this deadly mode. What are you gonna do about it? You can't cripple me. I am immune to magic. All right, well, a priest taking the wrong way into the battle, gonna quickly get taken down, most likely. No, able to dodge a lot of that damage and still try to make their way through. Meat Wagons continuing to shell out a bit of damage here as the mortar teams are standing in Disease Cloud and taking quite a bit of damage, having to be very, very careful as well. All right, all of these units are trying to make their way through. Mountain King has ideas of Thunderclap, but Dispel Magic from the Priest able to stop that once again. Back and forth action here. This pop-up army, this expansion in the middle, is it going to be enough as the main gold mines only have about 2 minutes of mining left? Center gold mine has about 4 minutes of mining left. The expansion of HawK actually in a better situation as HawK still wandering around with his heroes. Level 7, level 5, and nearly level 2 on that paladin. Level 2 on that paladin, now having devotion aura, gonna give a little bit of longevity to this entire army by adding in an additional +2 armor. The armor on the rifleman actually +7 between inner fire and that devotion aura, greatly reducing the amount of damage that they take. All right, let's go into an engagement here. There's a thunderclap right in the center. Death Knight could be in trouble. Good, quick impale right there. Archmage may now have ideas of Blizzard. No ideas of Blizzard. Mortar team's going to be coming back through here, taking down those meat wagons as they're able to lob in that damage. 80 supply compared to 66. Archmage continuing to push forward here as the Necromancers are trying to figure out how to stop this army. There's another giant thunderclap in the center portion. Thunderclap of Blizzard dealing so much damage as the Paladin was able to get out in time because of a Staff of Sanctuary. Archmage still having plenty of survivability here. I believe HawK has enough gas in the tank to just completely run over Sheik's expansion and then take the game as the Mountain King now gets to level 8. Mortar teams able to destroy these buildings in no time flat. And, well, this constant engagement causing problems as the Death Knight could be in a little bit of trouble. Mountain King trying to, yes, potion of mana, trying to finish off the Death Knight. Death Knight gets taken down, drops the Pendant of Energy, uses the potion of mana, picks it back up for a bit of extra mana here, and now able to retreat back out. That is going to be the game. HawK with an amazing score overall, getting up to level 6, or I believe level 7? Level 8 on his Mountain King in a 20-minute game. Really, the experience from those beetles and those skeletal minions made such a drastic difference after HawK was able to get to level 2 Thunderclap with that Pendant of Energy. Once that was on the table, all of that experience just continued to feed and snowball the power of that Mountain King until it was too much to stop. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.